Here, welcome to another video. So recently there was this Pokemon team tour called the LGBTPL, and I was a participant, and I thought it would be cool to showcase all of my games here since uh, it I was playing Sword and Shield SU for this, and I think it'd be a good showcase of what the metagame is like. Also, it's really fun. Also, I'm still very salty about what happened in the last game in the grand finals, uh, which we'll get to. So I didn't play for week one. Someone else played, but then dropped out, so I was the substitute. And I didn't play through for week three because I got an act win. So, how this worked, there were 8 teams. Every team played every other team in a round robin, so that's 7 weeks. And then top 4 teams went on to the semifinals and then the grand finals. My team made the grand finals. It's still ongoing, so we don't know if we won or got second, but regardless, um, we did pretty well, and I've got a lot of games to cover. So, first off, week two. So for week two, I brought this team, and this team is built around Lurantis. So Lurantis is a Pokemon that's very threatening. It has Contrary plus Superpower, which can easily spiral out of control. It also has Contrary Leaf Storm. It's a really terrifying wall breaker. However, its biggest weakness is that it's pretty slow. So this team's idea is to spread paralysis with Pokemon like Stunfisk, Galar, Clefairy, Silvally. This is a Silvally Water. And so that Luantis can outspeed the opposing team's faster Pokemon and go for a late game sweep. Now, right away, the main problems for this team are Golbat and Ninetales. Ninetales offensively threatens Luantis. Silvally Water is one of the best Ninetales answers, though, so I'm not too worried. Golbat is a much bigger problem because it walls Luantis pretty effectively. It quad resists both Superpower and Leaf Storm, which is a big problem. I actually don't remember if my Luantis here had Leaf Storm or Leaf Blade. I've got on both. Anyway, we get into the match. So I lead Stumpus Galar, my opponent leads Kabutops. So right away, we're both probably going to set up Stealth Rock. Oh, no. Yeah. I don't set up Stealth Rock. I paralyze the Kabutops because, so Ninetales pretty much always runs heavy duty boots. Golbat, it's a toss up as to whether it runs boots or Eviolite. Kabutops can have Rapid Spin, Golbat can have Defog. Having this permanent status on Kabutops is more valuable than setting up the Stealth Rock. Next turn, knock off, and now I set up Stealth Rock. So I've got Stealth Rock. I've paralyzed one of my opponent's Pokemon that would be faster than Luantis. My Luantis doesn't have any speed investment, so this Kabutops, even if it doesn't have speed investment, which it probably does, Kabutops usually has speed investment, like almost always, will outspeed. However, if Luantis is faster, Kabutops is quad weak to grass and weak to fighting. It's not a good matchup for it. So full para, Earthquake. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, and it has weak armor. Full para again, and I kill it. So, yeah, I say sorry because that was stupidly lucky. They send in Silvally Fighting. This is generally the best Silvally form in the tier. It's like the one that works on the widest variety of teams. Silvally Water is good on as more of a support role. Silvally Fire and Electric are pretty good offensively, and then Silvally Normal is is good because it can run an item while the other Savales can't. And also Stab Explosion can be really fun. But generally, Savale fighting is usually the best. It can fit on the widest variety of teams, and there's really no way to tell what set this is running. It could be running a Swords Dance set, it could be running Defog, it could even be running a mixed attacking set with like multi attack Ice Beam. So, yeah, in multi attacks, I live because Stumpfist Galore is bulky and I paralyze the Savale fighting. So then Flame Charge to boost speed, and so this is looking like the offensive Swords Dance set, which is like Swords Dance multi attack Flame Charge U-turn, or sometimes Rock Slide. And I do a bit of damage with Earthquake, and then Flame Charge. So that's +2 speed, which cancels out the paralysis. Now, I send in Clefairy, which is usually a good answer. However, there is a problem. It could have Iron Head. And if it has Iron Head, that's bad news for my Clefairy, obviously. It's super effective. It has a chance to flinch. And sure enough, it has Iron Head. But I hit it with Moonblast, does decent damage. But now, if it uses Iron Head again, I lose my Clefairy. So I switch into Rotom. Who is this multi-attack? Was this Iron Head? It's not bulky, but it should work. And this Rotom, I believe, is Choice Scarf, so it outspeeds. And so I send in Ninetales, Kangaskhan. So here I'm threatening Nasty Plot, and I'm also threatening just immediately hitting it with a fire move. However, it's threatening me with Stab Double Edge, which is scary, so I switch into Clefairy, it fake outs, and I sack Clefairy. Because, I mean, Clefairy isn't especially good against anything my opponent has remaining. It was at low health. I needed to get in Lurantis. And yeah, I was threatening it with superpower. So, and yeah, that does nothing. So I have to switch. I send in Silvally Water. And this Silvally has Defog and it has Thunder Wave. So I'm gonna Thunder Wave here. And now my Lurantis is faster than the Golbat. I Parting Shot to pivot into Ninetales. And once again, I'm threatening to go for a Nasty Plot sweep. Full para, switches into Kangaskhan, and Nasty Plot. So I get faked out, and here I think Flamethrower, I don't remember the exact calc, but Flamethrower either kills here or does get, it's very close. And there isn't a, and so, but Ninetales has Flash Fire. So their best play is to switch into Ninetales. I could try to catch that with Scorching Sands, but that has the risk of if they stay in, I get destroyed. So I basically have to click Flamethrower and activate Flash Fire. And now we're both threatening each other with Scorching Sands. It's a pure speed tie. Mine will hit harder because of the Nasty Plot. I win the speed tie. It doesn't kill. They don't kill. And now this is the speed tie that matters. If I win this speed tie, my opponent is in a lot of trouble. Actually, no, they're not, because Rapidash Galore is faster and Kangaskhan is fake out. If my opponent wins the speed tie, I can send in Silvally Water. Silvally Water usually, like Energy Ball from Ninetales is like a 2-hit KO, so I will survive that, hit it with multi-attack. So this speed tie doesn't especially matter, but it would be nice to win it. I don't win it. So now, obviously, I need to send in... Oh, right, Rotom Fan is Choice Scarfed. Okay. Yeah, so I don't risk damage on my Silvally. Sorry. This was played back in December, so I don't remember the exact details. I just remember kind of how it ended. Yeah, Discharge. Again, Rotom's Choice Scarf. So now it's a 3v3. Kangaskhan is threatening Fake Out. I let it do that. I survive. And now I'm Scarfed, so I will go first. And nope, Sucker Punch. So now I'm relying on Lurantis. So Superpower hits Kangaskhan, but the other two Pokemon quad resisted. However, Rapidash Galar actually isn't that threatening to me when I have a defense boost. I also have knockoff to hit it and remove its item. Really, what I'm mainly worried about is Golbat because it has Sludge Bomb that's super effective. I don't have a way to boost my special defense, and I just don't hit it very hard with any of my moves. So Switch isn't Golbat. This is Eviolite, so I do decent damage. So now I have knockoff. And knockoff kills. And that is a huge relief. Now, it's a good thing this wasn't heavy duty boots because it took Stealth Rock damage twice. And so Kangaskhan again, presumably to Fake Out. Yeah, there's the Fake Out. Flinch. Double Edge. I have a defense boost. I'm bulky. And then I get my second superpower boost. So now I'm in a pretty good position. Rapidash Glow is faster, but it doesn't kill me, and I'm at +2 attack, +2 defense. So Sword Stance, Leaf Blade, and I crit. I don't think that crit actually mattered. So yeah, my first game, it's a win. And as I said, week 3, I get an act win. So up next is week 4. Okay, had to take a drink of water there. So, week 4. This is I don't actually remember exactly what this team's idea is. It's kind of just a general balance team, I think. So my opponent actually has an interesting Pokemon. Ditto is pretty good in this tier, actually. Like, it's not, like, meta-defining, but it is a decent choice. Then there's just, like, this is just a generally solid team overall for my opponent. So, I did not mean to turn on this, have the sound turned on. Okay. Lead Metang for Stealth Rock. Musharna is led for... I don't actually know why Musharna was led. It doesn't match up well against Metang. It doesn't match up well against Thievul, and those are the two most likely leads for me, so I don't know why they led Musharna. And yeah, they immediately switch into Cramorant. Now, Metang can run Thunder Punch to hit Cramorant. I'm not running Thunder Punch. I'm running Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, which means I cannot hit this Cramorant. So I switch into Raichu. Surf. Okay. So, now, obviously I have Electric Stab to obliterate this Cramorant. So my opponent's probably going to switch. And yeah, Stunfisk Galar. But I catch that and Surf. So, Surf again, they live, and Yawn is an interesting move. So I could just take the sleep and kill the Stunfisk Galar. I probably should have done that, but I don't think I did. Yeah, I switch in Golbat. They switch in Shiinotic. So now I'm threatening a Sludge Bomb to be quad super effective. They switch, and Nasty Plot. So that is a problem for my opponent because Golbat after a Nasty Plot boost is actually pretty threatening offensively. Yes. Of course, Musharna is stupidly bulky, but I mean Eviolite. Okay. So Stunfisk Galar, and this is basically a sacrifice. I can Heat Wave here. Yeah. Okay. Now my opponent's probably gonna send in Ditto here. Yeah. And so they have my boosts and they have a choice scarf, so they're faster. And so bye bye Golbat. So Thievel, I believe my Thievel is also scarfed, making this a speed tie. And my Thievel also has the ability Stakeout, which means if they switch, I deal double damage. They don't switch, they win the speed tie. Oh, wait, no, it's not Scarf. That's right. It's Unburden. And so Throat Spray raises my special attack. Unburden doubles my speed. So this is pretty scary. And also, even if Ditto was still alive, it could not copy my Unburden boost. So Unburden Thievel can actually be an anti-Ditto one. That's not why I picked it. It's just funny interaction. So now I believe my Thievel has Burning Jealousy to hit it super effectively, but Shiinotic probably lives that. Yeah. And then I get Spored. Okay, now here I make a mistake that costs me the game. Just spoiler alert, I need to switch here, but I don't. And they heal up, and I once again don't switch, and I let my Thievel die. Now, you'll see why this is a problem soon, but the main reason it's a problem is Sleep Clause. If I had switched out, and Metang switches in for free here because it has Clear Body, it's immune to Strength Sap, it also resists Moonblast, it resists any grass moves. Metang can switch in easily against Shiinotic and threaten it with Meteor Mash. If I had done that, I would have Sleep Clause and the Shiinotic could not put another Pokemon to sleep. But since Thievel is dead, it can. And this, spoiler alert, will cost me the game. So I send in Metang now, switches into Cramorant, Meteor Mash. Does pretty decent damage, actually. I switch in Raichu, get hit with Surf, and it crits. So that sucks. That really sucks, because Raichu would have been pretty helpful. I mean, it can't really hit Shiinotic, but other than that, it would have been really helpful. So I send in Rapidash Galore, set up a Swords Dance, and they sack Musharna, and here comes Shiinotic. Now, Rapidash Galore can't hit Golbat, actually, with my set. Rapidash Galore will sometimes run Zen Headbutt. Mine is not running Zen Headbutt, it's running Plague Rough and High Horsepower, which is High Horsepower allows it to hit Steel types, which Dual Stab Rapidash Galore can't. But it has the side effect of I can't hit Golbat. So I switch, get hit with String Sap, and this Shiinotic is going to be a problem. I go for the Flame Charge to try and get my speed up, and then Effect Spore poisons me, which is actually really lucky because they tried to spore me. So that's really funny. But now I'm poisoned and have an attack drop. So not amazing. Switch in Metang. They switch in Golbat. Heat Wave does not do a lot. Eviolite is that strong. Meteor Mash, no boost. Roost, Meteor Mash, no boost. So I switch, and they are also running Nasty Plot Golbat. So here I'm in a lot of trouble because Rapidash Galore cannot hit this Golbat, so Volley Fighting cannot hit this Golbat, and Metang is threatened out by a Nasty Plot boosted Heat Wave, so I am in a lot of trouble here. So I U-turn, go Metang, it's immune to Sludge Bomb, and now I'm about to get hit by a Heat Wave, but maybe I live, or they Roost, no boost, and I survive the Heat Wave, Meteor Mash, and now I get the attack boost, so I Bullet Punch, doesn't kill, But now it's at low enough HP that either of my Pokemon, which are both faster, can revenge kill it. So Rapidash Galore, play rough, Golbat's gone. And that's a relief, because that Golbat could have destroyed me. However, the Shiinotic, I have nothing for. And so I have to send in Savali Fighting because I can't let my Rapidash Galore get spoiled. Flame Charge, Moonblast, and now I'm really wishing I kept Thievul alive, because now I'm about to get spoiled and lose. Yep. And so we just watch as, and I mean, I wake up, but it's too little too late, and so now I'm 1 for 1. Week 5. So for week 5, I am running, this is a more defensive team, or at least it looks that way. I believe this team, this Clefairy, has Calm Mind stored power. That might be a later team. Let me just, yeah, no, it's this team. So this kind of looks like a stall team, or at least a more defensive leaning team with like Credilli, Persian Alola, Clang. But Clefairy is actually a pretty scary win con. Okay, muted. Hang on, let me just mute all of these real quick. Okay. So, Credilli throw, set up Stealth Rock, get hit with a Circle Throw. Credilli is insanely bulky. Ninetales is dragged out. I Flame Throw. Throw is also insanely bulky. And Knockoff, Heavy Duty Boots gone. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. Ninetales actually, I mean, it threatens Mr. Rhyme, but other than that, it has a pretty bad matchup against a lot of my opponent's Pokemon. So I'm kind of good to just sack it for damage against the throw, but I get phased out. Cramorant is a pretty lucky pull for me because I'm faster. I threaten it with Hurricane. So switches in Mr. Rhyme. I hit it with Hurricane. Switch in Clang as it rapid spins. Now, Mr. Rhyme doesn't have a way to hit a Steel type. And I'm threatening Gear Grind. But that doesn't hit Sophistical. Like, Leftovers almost healed that all off. Okay, switching Cramorant, Stealth Book. So Cramorant has Defog, so it can get rid of that, but it also threatens Surf. And Stunfisk could have Thunder Wave, it could have Yawn. So it's risky to stay in and click Defog. I can click Surf, which is pretty good. There's also the chance that it doesn't have a way to hit me at all. But I click Defog and Yawn. That's good, because Thunder Wave would have been a problem. Yawn is fine, I can just switch. So I switch in Clefairy. They set up Stealth Rock again, switching Rapidash Galore, Moonblast, pretty decent damage. And special attack drop probably doesn't matter. Rapidash Galore is usually a physical attacker. There is a Calm Mind stored power set, but that's pretty rare. It's usually a Sword Stance Sweeper or a Choice Band Sweeper. So we switch in Persian Alola, correctly predicting the Sword Stance, and now I'm threatening Foul Play. Switches out, Foul Play, yeah. Doesn't do a lot to Type Null. Type Null is bulky. So I knock off the Eviolite. U-turn doesn't do a whole lot. Send in Throw. So I don't want to get hit with the Circle Throw. So I Parting Shot. Bring in Cramorant. But knock off instead of Circle Throw. So no more Heavy Duty Boots for my Defogger. That's bad. Switch in Thievel. I defog. Now, Thievel is usually stakeout. There is the unburdened set that I used in the last game, but this is probably a stakeout, which really punishes me for if I want to switch out. But I'm slower. But yeah, and then the crit. So now, now, whatever Pokemon my opponent uses to finish off my Cramorant is gonna get paralyzed because of Gold Missile. So they switch in type Null, I Roost. So now my Cramorant's in a pretty good position actually, because it's gonna paralyze something if it stays in. And it's out of kill range from, I think, everything on my opponent's team. Mr. Rhyme could have Freeze Dry, that's a problem. But other than that, yeah, that's good. So I Roost again, and I get Toxic. That's really bad. Yeah, Hurricane does nothing, and my opponent just accepts getting the type Null paralyzed. So the type Null is paralyzed and at low health and has lost its Eviolite. It's no longer a threat. Mr. Rhyme is a threat. It can freeze dry me. So I sack Ninetales and bring in Persian Alola. Throw switches in, Toxic. Now, Throw probably has Guts, so that's not great, but the residual damage is pretty good. I Parting Shot, again, I don't want to get Circle Throwed. Sending Cramorant, Circle Throw, and it brings Persian Alola back in. I hit it with Knockoff to remove the leftovers and rest. So its final move is likely Sleep Talk. And Guts does boost its stats while Sleep Talk, so that cancels out the attack drop, so it's basically normal power. I can Parting Shot again. I hope I did that. Okay, Thievel. Yeah, Parting Shot. And now here, the obvious choice is Clefairy. Yeah. Now, I want my Clefairy to get a chance to set up some Calm Minds. And this is as good a chance as any. However, there are some problems. Namely, Rapidash Galore can break through Clef, and Throw can phase it out, and I don't want to reveal Calm Mind prematurely. Stunfisk Galore also walls it without if I don't boost up quite a bit. So I get U-turned. Don't know why it's U-turn and not Parting Shot. But anyway, yeah, Calm Mind. So now my opponent is probably thinking, oh no. Because they have shaky answers to Calm Mind Clef, they don't have a great answer, especially if I get a lot of boosts, and Mr. Rhyme can't really stop me from that. Except it can because it has Encore, which is really annoying. I try to stay in, but actually, no, I don't try to stay in. What am I talking about? Now, not Clank, Rapidash Galore could have high horsepower, but given that they switched out, then again, I was threatening Gear Grind, so probably not a great idea to stay in. Okay. Volt Switch blocked, so I have to manually switch. I'm basically giving up Cramorant here. Or I'm not. Why did I Roost? I'm not sure what I was thinking. Persian Alola has heavy duty boots. Clang resists stealth while Clefairy has magic guard. I don't need a defogger anymore. Okay. And type no lives. So that's a problem. I really should have clicked Surf instead of Roost there. But what can you do? So, defog. Guess I just really wanted the Stealth Rocks gone. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Got something caught in my throat. Anyway, so here, type null is gonna be really annoying. Switch in, and they pivot out, and I set up a calm mind. So now I probably should attack because they're probably gonna switch in Mr. Lime and try to encore. Do I do that? Yes. But they don't switch in and yawn. So that's a problem. Now, Clefairy, if it gets a chance to set up a few calm minds, can obliterate my opponent's entire team. However, my opponent's doing a pretty good job of stopping me from setting up. So I have to switch. I bring in Cradily, Stealth Rock, and switch in type null. I set up my own Stealth Rock. Something still caught in my throat. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so switching Clef, Toxic, and that's pretty good because now Clefairy doesn't have to worry about Yawn. It has Magic Guard, so it doesn't take damage from this poison. So Clefairy's in a really good position now. It just has to worry about Encore and a Swords Dance Sweep from Rapidash Galore. Okay, pivot out into Mr. Rhyme and Calm Mind, and I'm about to get Encore here, but I stay in just to, force it to actually commit to the Encore. Switching Clang, Rapid Spin, and now they're probably gonna switch in Stunfisk Galore, and I catch that and switch in Cradily. So now I want to set up my Stealth Rocks again, but I also want to heal a bit. Okay, no, Stealth Rock again, Yawn. So I switch in Cliff, switches in Mr. Rhyme, stay in for the Freeze Dry, Moonblast it. So now I have Soft Boiled and I want a chance to heal, but I could get Encored into Soft Boiled, but it's risky to switch out at low health. So what do? I stay in and they click Rapid Spin for some reason. Okay. If they really wanted to be devious, they could have encored the Moonblast to stop me from healing, although I actually think they would have fainted first if they did that. Okay, I get encored in a Soft Boiled, so I need to switch. Once again, I bring in Clang, Freeze Dry. They stay in for some reason. I don't know why they did that. Stunfisk Galore switches in very easily to Clang, but now Clef is kind of free to set up because it can't get yawned, it can't get encored. So as long as Rapidash Galore isn't in, Clef can sweep. And Thievel. So I'm sacking the Clang to bring in Clef safely. Or no, I'm just Volt switching, but Kling's at low enough HP. Stunfisk Galore, I set up Calm Minds, I can't get yawned, I'm fine. Another Calm Mind. Earthquake, does nothing. This is max HP, max defense, Eviolite. Rapidash Galore comes in, third Calm Mind. Def switched out Mr. Rhyme, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I don't know why you did that either, that was a huge misplay. Zen Headbutt, and yeah, this is over. Type null, Facade, not enough, Soft Boiled, Facade, set up another Calm Mind. This is completely unnecessary. This is, I don't even know what they're hoping for. Even a crit won't save them. This is so over. Yeah, I'm maxed out. This thing's flash move is stored power. They are. Yeah, heal back up to full. That matters. And yeah, this is over. Stumpa survives, but can't do anything. And yeah, I mean, though a sleep talk could have pulled Sokol Pro there, which I mean, they still would have been won, but that would have been really funny and probably added like an extra 20 turns to the battle. And dog pulls, yeah, no flinch. Even if they guaranteed flinches, I don't think they had enough dog pulls PP to kill me. uh, so there we go. And I say I love Calm Mind Clef. Yeah. So now I'm 2 for 1, 3 for 1 if you count the act win, but I don't. On to week 6. Now this is a the first 4 Pokemon here, Roselia, Mr. Rhyme, Throw, and Ponyard, form a pretty cool core. So this is a Rose Pond team structure is what this is called. Basically, the idea is Roselia sets up spikes. Mr. Rhyme is a spinner and a to counteract the opponent's hazard setters. Throw uses Rest Talk Circle Throw to do a bunch of phasing. And Ponyard punishes Defog by switching in and getting Defiant boosts. And then I have a Ghost type to block Rapid Spin, and then Silvally is basically just Silvally. I believe this is a Silvally Water. Half my team here is weak to fire, so so basically the idea is you have that core of 4 and some Ghost type to block Rapid Spin, and in this case also set up Stealth Rock, freeing a move slot on Ponyard, and then some answer to Ninetales because Ninetales tears apart this team structure. Okay. And they have some connection issues at the start. So with Zelia, Kangaskhan, and immediately immediately I get pretty lucky here because Poison Point activates and spikes. Double Edge I live, and Synthesis, yeah. I'm a bit concerned about a crit. They send in Hitmonchan, which is threatening to Rapid Spin, so I bring in my Spin Blocker and get hit with a Throat Chop. So Clefairy comes in, Strength Sap to heal back up. This interaction is going to happen a lot of Corsola Glow switching into a Throat Chop and then Strength Sapping whatever switches in. So I set up my rocks, get knocked off. And that's a problem because now it's much harder to switch into Throat Chop. So I bring in Throw, and they're running a Calm Mind Clef. So I know how dangerous that is. And this happens. Which, I mean, that's not great. So I switch in, and I Iron Head. I don't get a flinch. And now I send in Silvally Water. Multi-attack does not kill. Soft boiled. So now I'm in a lot of trouble. I use Thunder Wave to slow it down, maybe get some full paras. Multi-attack. And yeah, this is really bad. So now I basically need a full para so I can phase it out. Or I can knock off its Eviolite. But I get the full para. And yeah. So this is really bad. But they do this. Now, your guess is as good as mine as to why they did that. Because to me, that didn't make any sense. Like, I that Clefairy was about to destroy my entire team. I don't know why they switched out. I mean, I guess the and it's not even Storm Drain. Like, did they think it was Storm Drain and forget? I yeah, I don't know what my opponent's doing here. Freeze Dry, Stone Edge. And yeah, Mr. Rhyme is really bulky. This Credilly probably isn't invested in attack, but still. Okay, Kangaskhan. Okay. So now they're threatening a rapid spin, so I have to switch in Corsola Galar. I get throat chopped, and that is insanely lucky because throat chop would have killed, but now I can strength zap. They bring in Raichu, strength zap, yeah, volt switch. That curse body doesn't matter. Nightshade. Now I'm in trouble because it's gonna switch out for no reason again. Okay. Roselia can switch into Raichu pretty safely. It typically has Thunderbolt, so maybe Focus Blast, maybe Nasty Plot. Regardless, Roselia switches in pretty safely. Okay. Credilly's basically dead here. But I can set up my third layer of spikes, letting it heal a bit, but Credilly doesn't really scare me, and now I have 3 layers of spikes and Stealth Rock. So, yeah. And then I get the Poison proc, so this is a pretty lucky battle for me, other than that Circle Throw miss, but I think I've more than made up for it by now. Giga Drain. And now we just have I'll speed it up because this goes on for a while. And we basically am just PP stalling the synthesis. Yeah, I'll move it to hyper fast because this is, yeah, this went on for a while. Like here, 2 synthesises and 4 stone edges. So I'm gonna win this exchange because it's just runs out of PP first, but still. Okay, 1 and 3, 1 and 2, switch into Clef. For some reason, I have Sludge Bomb that kills from here. Oh, they misclicked. Okay, that explains it. But I'm like, what did you mean to do? Yeah, I lose Corsola, Galar. We'll put it back on normal speed now that the interaction with Credilly is over. Or they can send in Credilly again. And for some reason they aren't Storm Drain. And now I'm in a pretty good position, even though at first it looked like there was no way I could win this. Made a real comeback. Thanks to dumb luck and a myth click, but still a comeback. Okay, that Raichu's dead. Unless they spin, which they can spin here. And yeah. But Poison Point procs. And so now I can set up the spikes again. And it's Savale Water. Okay, Ice Beam. Roselia just wins here. Yeah. Okay. Raichu can't kill from here. It's over. Yeah, that was a crit. And then I get a crit, which I mean, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't gotten that crit. Like, really needed that. But anyway, so now I'm 3 for 1. I did not mean to restart it. Now, week 7, I get matched up with Fish1107, who's actually a friend of mine. I I think we've collabed before. Not entirely sure. But anyway, uh, so now now I actually ended up fighting Fish 3 times in this tournament. Uh, you'll see why. But anyway, so this is the final week of the round robin. Fish's team uh, made was my team's opponent in the semifinals, and so we played this game. We tied, and so there was a tiebreaker, and then I had to play Fish again for a tiebreaker of the semifinals. So I fight Fish 3 times. My first team I use is a hyper. This is hyper offense. I've got the Unburdened Thievel. For a while, I was trying Unburdened Driftblim on this team, but it didn't really work. Doug Tree is a suicide lead with Focus Sash and Memento. Kadabra. Kadabra is actually Choice Specs. It's a terrifying wall breaker. Cross Soul with Shell Smash. This is pure offense. Okay, they lead Rapidash Claw. I Stealth Rock. High Horsepower. And somehow, and Memento. So that's Doug Trio's purpose, is set up Stealth Rock and then help one of my terrifying sweepers get in early. So that does basically nothing. Shell Smash. And now switches in Clefairy and another Shell Smash. So this is scary for Fish because I could sweep here. Yeah. I don't know if that was a Fizdef Clefairy. It might have been Spadef Clefairy, but regardless, Clefairy is bulky with Heavy Light. That's insane. Okay, Hitmonchan Bullet Punches, which does a lot of damage, but Earthquake kills. And do they have another priority move? I don't think so. But Type Null lives. So now I just need... So now Crustle didn't completely tear up my opponent's team, but it sure put a dent in it. And then my Choice Scarf Electivire Earthquakes the Raichu. In comes Executor. Send in Thievel. Giga Drain. And now I'm going to Snarl here. Which doesn't kill. So... yeah. But, yeah. It's turn 10. Half my opponent's team is fainted. 2 more are at low health. I'm feeling pretty good. So Choice Specs Kadabra makes the right switch, so I need to switch out, but in comes Swords Dance Silvally Fighting, and this is basically over. Yeah, Sleep Talk isn't going to help. Flame Charge, so now I outspeed the Rapidash Galar. I think this is multi-attack Iron Head. That's unfortunate. Now I no longer outspeed the Rapidash Galar. But both my opponent's remaining Pokemon are Psychic type. Okay, my opponent's only remaining Pokemon is Psychic type. Kadabra Shadow Ball is a problem. Or he can just outspeed. So yeah, 1 in 17 turns. Normally I play more balanced to defensive teams, but I have to say, hyper offense teams can be very satisfying to win with, especially when you win that quickly. Because turn 17 win without them forfeiting, with outright you killed all 6 of their Pokemon. That's satisfying. There's just a lot of satisfaction in that. Now for the complete opposite, for the semifinals, so right now I'm up 4-1, and I bring this stall team. Now, this is a very stalling team, obviously. I mean, just look at it. So I'll put this now. The thing about this team is that it's stally, but it's kind of bad, to be honest. This is definitely the worst team brought in this tournament. Uh, but it doesn't help that I got pretty unlucky in this game. So I set up my locks, Scorching Sands. Okay, Clef gets toxic. Now, if this is a Calm Mind Clef, it's game over. Calm Mind Clef is like the biggest anti-Stallmon. And also, I say, oh, I made a stupid mistake team building, lol. That mistake is I forgot to put a fourth move on my Clefairy. This Clefairy is Stealth Rock, Soft Boiled Moonblast, and it's supposed to have knockoff too, but I forgot to put that on its moveset. So that's embarrassing. But it's not going to end up mattering because because yeah, this is not going well for me. Send in my unaware Pyukumuku, get knocked off. Now, Pyukumuku can't do a thing to Clefairy. And yeah, good double switch. I have to switch again, Volt switch. And yeah, I've just completely have lost all momentum. I'm yeah. Like at this point I can tell I'm not winning this game, but like I still have all 6 Pokemon. I might as well play it out. But yeah. Yeah, my opponent just has all the momentum they need. I bring in this, and that crit mattered. That crit mattered a lot. So I just went from disadvantaged to I have no hope because this was unaware, and my opponent has, I mean, Poniard and Ninetales both threatening to set up sweep. Brings an Executor to tank the Spore. Sunny day, and yeah. So this is Chlorophyll and Life Orb, and I am in a hole. And this is game over. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I just forfeit. So my second loss of the tournament. I'm still up 4-2, but as I mentioned before, we tied. Um, like our teams tied in terms of games won here. So for the tiebreaker, we only picked 3 tiers instead of the usual 8. And we're matched up again. Sword and Shield SU is one of the ones we picked. And I bring this team. And this is my favorite game of the tour. I will just shut up for most of it and watch and let you watch it in all its glory. So, well, I mean, that seems pretty lucky, but given that Throw has Sleep Talk and Guts, it's not as lucky as it would have been on like anything else. Which is in Rosalia, Strength Sap. Now I'm scared of Sludge Bombs, so in comes Ninetales, Spikes, set up a Nasty Plot. Okay. Now, when I choose faster, I switch in Shiinotic because Shiinotic can tank anything Raichu throws at it. I believe this is specially defensive Shiinotic. Okay. And now I bring in Mawile to take the Sludge Bomb, but it's a Spikes. So set up all layers of Spikes. And now, Mawile is usually a utility Pokemon with stuff like Stealth Rock, Intimidate, Knockoff. This is not that Mawile. This Mawile has Sheer Force, Life Orb, and the moveset is Swords Dance, Play Rough, which is boosted by Sheer Force, Iron Head, which is boosted by Sheer Force, and Sucker Punch for priority. Not the most common Mawile set, but can be terrifying. And I'll just let you see what happens. Yeah. Now, you'll notice I didn't take Life Orb damage. When Sheer Force boosts a move, it also prevents that move from causing Life Orb damage, but you still get the boost from Life Orb. So these moves I'm using are boosted twice for double power from Swords Dance, 1.5 times power for Stab, 1.3 from Sheer Force, and then another 1.3 from Life Orb. So they are over 5 times their normal power. So, well, even more because that crit. And oops, that's a big mistake because I'm still nearly 4 times power. And now I outspeed the team because of the tricked choice scarf. And so I'm locked into Iron Head, but and I say honestly that might have helped me. Just watch. And look at that. Once again, win in 17 turns. The Sheer Force Mobile is amazing. That was beautiful. I that is quite possibly my favorite game of competitive Pokemon I have ever played. That I felt so good sweeping with that mobile. The trick choice scarf, like I loved that game. Now for a game I didn't love. So this is Grand Finals, and I will just preface by saying this is the unluckiest game I have ever played of competitive Pokemon in my life. Just so this is a balanced team. I have a Grass Fire Water core here. I've got my Unburdened Thievul. This is the typical utility Mawile with Stealth Rock and it's good typing. And then Rapidash Galore is just a very splashable Pokemon. It's good speed control, it's good offense. And okay, so want to set up my Stealth Rock. But I don't get to. Thankfully, I call that. And Super Fang is an interesting move. I have not seen that on Golbat, like, ever. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. And this is actually that Golbat's only attacking move, which is weird. This is a weird Golbat set. Set up my Nasty Plot. Yeah. Taunt Super Fang Roost Toxic is, like I said, it's a weird set. But for this specific team, it's actually caused a lot of problems. And now I get Flash Fired. Scorching Sands. Now, I want to just keep track of everything unlucky that happens. Well, okay, so switches in, switches back out. Honestly, clever play, but I do kill the Ninetales. Basically, I hedge my bets because if they stay in, Scorching Sands does nothing. If they switch, then Flamethrower does worse than nothing. It boosts them. So Energy Ball seemed like the safest play. Luckily, it was right. Okay, get taunted. And now snarl. So I'm gonna go for my unburden sweep. The thing about unburden is you only get the boost from it once. Same with throat spray. So once you activate unburden, you have to commit. So this Thievul stays in until it either sweeps the entire team or dies. Burning Jealousy, Thunderwave. Okay. Not I'm not gonna count Thunderwave hitting as unlucky. I'm only going to keep track of things that are at least like a 50% um that are under a 50% chance of happening that are unlucky for me. So switches in. Okay, multi-attack. Scans. Okay. Okay, I went for Sucker Punch there, but and I really thought Sucker Punch was +2 priority. Apparently, it's only +1. Okay, because I knocked off the item, no poltergeist. There we go. Right away, Thunderwave miss. That's a 10% chance. Get taunted. Go for the multi-attack. And yeah, Frisk reveals that my Silvally water is holding a water memory. Whoever would have seen that coming? So, okay. Yeah, and this Gorgeist is Choice Bandit, by the way. Okay. Now, let's see what happens here. Silvally water uses multi-attack. And it uses Thunder Wave, and it hits this time. So Parting Shot, switches Golbat, and I call the switch, go for Long Slide, and miss. So that is my second 90% accuracy move that misses. Get Toxic, I go for Long Slide, and a third miss. So we're at 1 in 1,000 odds already. And I know there are some things that went well for me. I know there are places where it could have gone worse, but just this is incredibly unlucky. Like, if I wanted to, I could do like a full statistical analysis on exactly how unlucky this game was, but right now I just want to keep track of like the noticeable instances of pure bad luck that screwed me over and combine the odds. So in comes Stumpus Galar. Fourth miss of a 90% accuracy move. I'm not gonna count that one because it would have done like 3% anyway. So, as you can see, I am very salty right now, which I think is completely justified. And like I'm clearly losing here, but might as well play it out. You know, who knows? Maybe my luck will turn around. What's the worst that could happen here? Oh, look, I finally hit. Get taunted. Guess didn't realize it was banded. Probably wasn't looking at the calc carefully. And now Lycanroc has no guard, so Stonage isn't gonna miss. Now I go for the Swordsdance sweep. It's my only hope, but I forgot about no guard. So yeah, I missed 4 90% accuracy moves in a row. 3 of them, I think, if I hit, I at least have a pretty decent chance of winning the game. So yeah. Just I don't know what to say about that one because my first two losses I think were kind of my fault. Like I either played badly or brought a bad team. That one I just got really unlucky. And unless we end up tying, that's the end of my career in this tournament. Um, Went 5 for 3, which I think is a pretty good record. And yeah, see you in the next video, which might actually be a more detailed analysis of the Sword and Shield SU metagame. A video I've been planning for months but keep procrastinating on. See you then.